what helps us choose, why do we choose a particular trait to block by? What's the purpose behind a particular trait to choose to block? The one which does what?
Variables.
Very good. The one, whichever trait most affects what we are measuring, the result we are measuring. Okay. So block by the trait that most affects what we are measuring. Okay, to control that. But then here's the other thing. What happened here that we said, what was going on with our ranges? What did we find blocking by breed significantly did with our results? It reduced the variability of it, reduced the variation. Very good. By a huge amount, from 9 to whatever this one was. Okay, so our blocking reduced that variation and blocked by the trait that affects the results. All right, so there's our conclusion of that lab, but I want to tie into something that we've done in the past to kind of make sure we don't mix them up, okay? So in the past we talked about randomization, and so why do we randomize? There you go, we're going to randomize to reduce bias, okay? So we want to have a clear-cut knowledge and understanding from the lab of why we block. We block to do what? What did this account for? Blocking to do what? Reduce variation. Nice. So we're going to block to reduce variation. Good vibrations. See the connection there? Okay, so let's talk through our blocking process. So here we go. And I'll kind of stop you and kind of walk you through some important facts as we go through this.
I see you have a trait there that may affect the way subjects respond.
Isn't that one of the main things we just said? That was the other main thing. I'm going to block by the trait that I think most affects the bone density loss, what we're responding, what our response is. Okay, trait that most affects what we respond. So that's how we chose that.
I see you have a trait there that may affect the way subjects respond. What do you do? Take homogeneous groups. What do you do? Take homogeneous groups. Blocking reduces variation. Blocking reduces variation.
Okay, now let's take a look at this for a second. We've seen this format of experiments, okay? So I want you to look at this experiment and see what you think the response that we are measuring is. Okay, think in your minds from this picture, what response are we measuring? Okay, so what do you come up with? Who was saying? Heidi, Eva, what do you guys think? What response are we measuring? To? Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. Just from the limited information I have here. Yeah. I got 3 different ads, and I'm going to be measuring the reaction. All right, good. Based on reaction to the ad, what do we see that the advertisers or the marketing people, what do we see that the marketing people thought was an important trait that affects the way they respond to the ads? Yes, gender. How did you know that that was the trait that they think affects the way they respond to the ad? That's how they chose to control it. Very good. Okay, good. So they can chose to control it that way. Now, last question, or last thought. Is this a true statement? This is a complete experiment right here. Is that just the women part? Is that a complete experiment? Yes, it is. Good. That includes your random assignment to the treatments and so on and so forth in comparison. And then we have a parallel experiment in the men. Okay, good. So within each block is its own experiment. Within each block is the experimentation. Okay, so here we go. Finish that out.
Within each block is experimentation. Within each block is experimentation.
Here's a comic strip, which actually doesn't have much to do with this. So, all right, very good. So I can play that all the way through again, so you can hear those things. But those were the main concepts for your blocking that I wanted you to get.